We were doing the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972, and we have discussed the meaning of gratuity, the applicability of Gratuity Act in different organization, meaning of employee under this act, meaning of employer, the importance of continuous job, that is one of the basic requirement to receive the gratuity payment. That employee has to render the services as a continuous employment in the organization. Also, we had discussed that the gratuity amount is paid to employee as a retirement benefit, but not as a pension benefit. The pension amount is different in case any organization is following the pension rule, or any government organization is there. But gratuity amount is payable as a monetary benefit, as a courtesy benefit which is given to the employee. There are certain conditions that we had discussed, that once employee has completed 5 years of services in one organization, then only he is eligible to receive the gratuity amount. So these were the basic conditions that were required to receive the gratuity payment from an organization. Now, we'll be discussing today regarding the calculation of gratuity, how gratuity is calculated based on the salary of the employee, and what are the different conditions that are applicable once the gratuity payment has to be done. So very importantly, and please just give your attention towards this particular aspect, because the calculation is one of the crucial aspect that you should know, and what do you have to include in the calculation and what not, that has to be taken care. So to calculate the gratuity, your last drawn salary is considered. That means that right now, whatever is your salary, or the moment you are going to leave the organization, at that particular time, what was your salary, that would be considered for the salary gratuity calculation. What do I mean by this? That in case 2 or 3 years ago, my salary was 20,000, and now when I am going to leave this organization, my salary is 30,000. But the gratuity calculation would be done on the salary of 30,000, not on the pro rata base or the average calculation of 20,000 and 30,000. So that would be my latest salary would be considered. According to the law for gratuity calculation, your salary would include the following components. Now your salary have a lot of components. I hope all of you understand this part. Basic salary, dearness allowances, medical allowances are there. Some housing rent allowances are also given to the employees, and some other compensation or conveyance allowances are given at the aspect of the salary calculation, what you call as a CTC. So for gratuity, it has been kept common for all the organization that only basic salary and dearness allowances would be considered for the gratuity calculation. That means that HRA is house rent allowance, bonus, if in case employee has received some bonus, any special allowance that employee has received and that has been included in his salary for that particular month, and reimbursement, or any sort of reimbursement may be related to some payment he has done from the organization in behalf of organization, and he has received some reimbursement in that case. But that would also not be considered as your salary, and would not be taken as a gratuity calculation. Yes, you will receive that as a salary, as a gross salary in your bank account, but while gratuity calculation, only basic salary plus dearness allowances would be considered. So I hope this is clear to all of you. And any confusion if anyone has, or if anyone say that this would also be included, your overtime would also be included, if in case any employee receive the overtime amount, that should also not be included. So very clear, basic plus dearness allowances. So now we are going to discuss about the formula to calculate the gratuity. So here I have already said last drawn salary, which would consider basic salary plus dearness allowances. Second aspect that would be considered is your total years of services that you have rendered in the organization, one organization. I'm not talking about your total work experience that constitute your work experience in 2 or 3 organizations. In one organization, your total years of services. So number of years of service in a company, and the mathematical rule of point will apply here in calculating the years. So what do I mean by the mathematical rule is, for example, if Mr. X has completed 5 years and 3 months, now he is retiring from the organization and he wants his gratuity payment. Here I have mentioned total years of services, not as a years and months of services. So only year would be calculated. Either it would be 11 year or 10 year. There won't be any month or point criteria included inside this. So when I'm talking about 5 years and 3 months, then it will be considered as a 5-year only. That means if it is 5 year and 6 months above or 5 years and 6 months below, that would be taken as a consideration for calculating the year of services. So 5 year and 3 months would be considered as only 5 year, and if it is 5 years and 6 months or above, then it would be considered as a 6 year. So the 6 month criteria has been kept in between. If it is below 6 months, then it will come below to the preceding year, and if it is 6 months and above 6 months, then it would be coming to the coming year. So this is the rule that has been followed, and it is very clear, so that employer and employee both are clear about the calculation of the gratuity. Now, this is the formula of gratuity calculation, wherein the last drawn salary into total years of services, that would be multiplied with total years of services multiplied with 15 divided by 26. The reason and the logic behind this calculation is very simple. Listen carefully. What I'm going to talk about is, see, you need to imagine something, that how do we understand the gratuity amount? Every year we are paying the amount. That's why for every year we are paying the amount, and that's why we are multiplying this total years of services, right? So every year, the 15 days of salary of that particular employee for every year would be considered, right? So that's why I have multiplied it with the 15, with this digit 15. Why divided by 26? Because I need to first calculate 1 day salary of the employee. Per year, 1 day salary. So for 1 day salary, what do we do? Why don't we take 31 as a base or 30 as a base? No, we have to take 26 working days. See, here it is written 15 is wages for the 15 days and 26 are the working days of the month. So we consider that employee has worked 26 days in a month, because other 4 days are Sundays. We have to take it as a very flat rule and very common rule for all the organization. No matter if organization is Saturday and Sunday both off in the organization, that won't be considered that Saturdays may be off, and that would be taken for the calculation part. No, this is flat for all the organization, whether you are Saturday, Sunday off or you are just Sunday off. 26 would be the working days that would be considered as a base days to calculate the 1 day salary. So last drawn salary, if in case it is 30,000, I would be dividing it with 26. So I will get 1 day salary, and then I'll multiply it with 15. 15, why would I multiply? Because I want for 1 year 15 days salary. For every year 15 days salary would be calculated. So once I receive 15 days salary, then I will multiply it with the total years of services. So for 1 year, if I receive 15 days salary, and then I'll multiply with, if in case if you have spent 11 years, that would be multiplied with 11 years. So this is the whole concept and reasoning behind this calculation of gratuity, which we'll be doing in the Excel sheet now. So just wanted to make you clear this 26 days part, because many of the time students get confused, and once they join the organization, they argue that why don't we consider 30 days if employees paid for the full month's employees being paid full month salary, then 30 days, 31 days should be taken into consideration for calculating 1 day salary. So this is 26 should be taken as a base. So now coming towards the calculation part, I'm going to share the Excel sheet to all of you. I hope this is visible to all of you. Yes. So this is the calculation part that I want to show to all of you. And in this, the gratuity calculation that we would be doing, we have 3 employees, Sanjeev, Manoj, and Akshay, right? And as I had told you that we'll be taking 25,000, 11,000 and 1,40,000, which is basic plus DA of these employees. The number of years that these employees have spent in one organization is 14, 25 and 35. So accordingly, we'll be calculating the gratuity. Here for your reference, I have given this formula as well, wherein it is written last drawn salary multiplied by total years of services in the organization multiplied by 15 divided by 26. So I'll be showing you 2 ways of calculating the gratuity. In whatever way you think it is conducive for you, you may adopt that. So here, if I take this salary as your last drawn salary, then I'll be selecting it. I can divide it by 26. I will receive my 1 day salary. Then I'll multiply it with 15 to receive 15 days salary. Then I will multiply it with number of years that the employee has rendered in the organization. So it has become 2,01,923. So this is the gratuity calculation that would be conducted to receive the gratuity amount of the employee, and he would be paid accordingly. So this is the way I have done, the way I have explained to all of you. But if I do with this formula as well, the result would be same. Let's see. So this is written last drawn salary. Last drawn salary is 25,000. Now I will multiply it with 14. That is your total number of years, and then 15 divided by 26. See, the result is same. So why this formula is written, and I'm telling you to refer this formula, because this is looking a bit conducive that you have to take 2 things along, because these are the things which would vary based on the employee to employee. So first we'll take salary multiply with total number of years, and then 15 by 26 would be similar for all the employee. That's why this formula has been told to refer. Otherwise, whatever you feel like, you can go through. So reason why, how do we calculate things? I have already given you 1 day salary will be taking 15 days per year and then multiplied with the total number of years that employee has served there. So again, if you want, I can show you once again this thing. Salary drawn multiplied with number of years, 15 days divided by 26. So this is your 1,58,654. After 25 years of service, if Manoj has last drawn salary 11,000, see 1,58,654 he'll be receiving. Now see, if I just want to drag it down, it will give me this result. I don't need to, if I have around 5,000 or 6,000 employees in my organization, in my Excel sheet, of course, I won't be putting the formula for every employee. I can just drag the cell and I can receive the gratuity calculation. So, but here do you see there is a condition. The amount of Akshay becomes, after 35 years of service, is 28 lakh. What is this? 26,923, right? So, will he receive this amount? What do you think? 28,26,923. I had told you there are certain limits that Gratuity Act talks about, that beyond that limit, employee cannot receive the amount. And that limit is, if you all remember, we had discussed that limit is 20 lakh. So the amount 28,26,923 that Akshay is claiming, that is exceeding 20 lakh, and thus he will receive only 20 lakhs. He will receive only rupees 20 lakh as per the limit mentioned in Gratuity 1970. Every time I'm reading 1972, because you have to mention the right term, although it is the payment of gratuity at 1972, I'm not writing it again. So I hope this is clear to all of you. How do we do the calculation? No matter if it goes beyond, if it goes below 50,000, or if an employee is receiving 30,000 or 20,000, no matter, there's no minimum limit, but there's a maximum limit that has been mentioned in the Gratuity Act 1972 that has to be adhered by the organization. So this was the calculation, and I have also got some automatic gratuity calculation, wherein organization, what do? They just they have from one organization I've received it, and what do? They just don't have to, if they want for one employee, they can just, if in case I want it for Ajit, organization type, if in case non-government, we have option for this, government or non-government, it is non-government. And if in case years of services are 10, last drawn salary is 30,000, then see gratuity amount. So this is the automatic formula that also organizations follow. And if and what do? They just get the, because every year it's not like a salary that every month an employee would be getting the gratuity amount. Once an employee leaves, that then there are certain cases only, when an employee leaves, then only that gratuity amount is paid. So they don't need to maintain the sheet, a big sheet like a salary sheet. For individual employee, they maintain the sheet and they accordingly calculate it. They get it a printout and they provide it to employee as well, if something like that process they follow. So this is individual basis, and this is clear to employee as well, and very conducive sheet and format that employee also understand how it has been done, and he receive it. So this is what the gratuity calculation I have given you from very basic, and the outcome part in this way also organizations follow it. Now another very important thing I would like to just share with you all. This I talked about the employees who are receiving the salary and on a monthly basis, and those who are regularized employee, and the monthly salary that is taken for the consideration for the calculation of gratuity amount. But I had also discussed that whether the job is regularized or not, the gratuity is paid. It's not that if you are getting a monthly salary, then only you are eligible to receive the gratuity amount. So in case someone is receiving the daily wages or piece rate wage, someone is receiving, some employee or some worker is receiving, then also he is eligible. Then how would you calculate the gratuity of that person if in case there is no salary part associated with the person? So there is a case I would like to share with you all. Amish, in government also, when I had, Amish is asking that in government, employees are entitled for full gratuity if they leave. So kindly check, I will also check, but in 2018 notification that I had shown to you, therein also it is written that gratuity is, the limit for gratuity is 20 lakh. So once again, we can verify the same. Yeah. So do you see the second part, the present upper ceiling on gratuity amount under the Act rupees 10 lakh, the provision for central government employee with regard to gratuity are also similar. Before implementation of 7th Central Pay Commission, the ceiling under Pension Rule 1972 was rupees 10 lakh. However, with implementation of the 7th Central Pay Commission, in case of government service, the ceiling has been raised to rupees 20 lakh. And this we have received from Ministry of Labor and Employment, Payment of Gratuity Act 2018, and brought into force on 29th March 2018. So that's why when it was under 7th Pay Commission, it was mentioned that the upper ceiling would be 20 lakh. The same was thought to be implied in the private sector as well. So it is written very clearly that if you read this line, to increase the maximum limit of gratuity to such amount as may be notified by central government time to time. Now the government has issued the notification specifying the maximum limit to rupees 20 lakh in private sector as well, considering the inflation and wage increase even in case of employee engaged in private sector. So I think it is clear, and that's why I always believe in taking things from this, the notification that is of the Ministry of the Labor and Employment. And moreover, of course, for verifying things, internet is always available to all. So there's no issue. And in case you find something more about it, of course, always welcome to share your opinion and thoughts. So coming to the case, what I was talking about is the piece meal employee, the daily wage employee. So for example, if we have before that, I was just talking about that how can we calculate the daily wage earner. So the employee who gets his wage on the daily basis gets gratuity according to the different formula. For him, the 1 day salary is the average daily wage of last 90 days. That means that every day he is receiving some wage. If in case your daily wage is around 200 or 300, then how would your gratuity would be calculated? The base day that has been taken is 90 days. So gratuity would be average daily wages of last 90 days. Average nikalenge uska per day ka, and that would be multiplied by 15 and years of services that we had done for the monthly wage, salary employee as well. So we'll see a case that Adarsh works in an auto company. The company pays him on the daily basis. Adarsh is working in the company. All of you can just take a screenshot of this slide, because I think we are left with very less time. If in case I am able to take the calculation part, I'll take it. Otherwise, we can take it in the next class. So I'll first ask you all regarding the calculation, how we can do about it, and then we'll move ahead. Let's see, because I think you all can also explore and see that how it is done. So Adarsh, this case talks about that Adarsh works in an auto company. The company pays him on the daily basis. Adarsh is working in the company from last 18 years. Same company, no change, no gap, no interrupted services. Till 60 days back, he was getting 8,800 for a day. So till 60 days back, from the time now he wants to leave the organization, इससे 60 दिन पीछे he was getting received 800 for a day. Now he is getting rupees 1,000 a day. So 60 days तक उसको 800 मिला और 30 days he received around 1,000 a day. Last month he also done overtime of 30 hours and got rupees 6,000 in lieu of that. So 3 conditions have been given in this. One is very clear. He has completed 11 years of service. Then for 60 days he worked for 800, and because we have to consider 90 days, so we are interested in total 90 days of working and office wages that he received. So 60 days 800 and then 1,000 a day. If he resigns today, what would be the gratuity amount of Adarsh? So this is the case, and I think we can discuss. So let's do it. No issues. So let's do the calculation regarding the daily wages that I had shown you the PPT regarding that. Adarsh was a worker in an auto company, and he was working in the company for last 11 years. So total number of years was 11. Till 60 days back, he was getting 800. So we will take for 60 days. And then 1,000 for 30 days. Fine. So total wages is here, this plus this. What do we have to do? We have to take out the average wage for 90 days. 60 plus 30 is 90. Becomes 866. Fine. So what do we have to do now? Total years were 866. Sorry, total years were 11 and your average wages 866 per day. So what we had done, that for every year he will receive 15 days of wages. So first we'll do it this, then we'll multiply it with 15 because for every year we require 15 days of wages or salary. Then we'll multiply it with the total years. And this is the amount that we receive. 1,43,000. I hope this is clear to all of you. So this is because 11 years he have worked, and for 90 days I need the calculation, and it is his total 90 days did not consist the similar wages that he was receiving. For 60 days he was receiving 800, for 30 days he was receiving 1,000, and accordingly we calculated for both, and then we finally got the total wage, and then we got out the average wage for 90 days, and this is his gratuity. I hope this is clear to all of you. So both way we have calculated the gratuity amount for salary worker and for the daily wages worker. So this was your calculation part, and in next session we'll be discussing the next other important aspects of the Gratuity Act.